And the Dogs are coming off of a loss to Chattanooga. And UT Chattanooga, I know, Coach, that you had said in your Tuesday press conference, was a team that I know going into the game you were impressed by them, but you were impressed by them coming out of the game too.
Yeah, I mean, I just after playing them, you fully understand exactly what they are, and they're a veteran group of very talented players, and they played very, very well on Saturday. The thing that was most impressive probably is their fronts, offensively and defensively, big, strong, tremendous depth on the defensive line. When one went out, another one comes in, looks just like him, and very athletic, and they played very, very well. They played like a veteran, talented team, and I think they're probably top to bottom, the best FCS team we've seen this year. So. The hats off to Coach Huseman. He did a great job preparing his team coming into that game. He's done a great job all year.
They were a team to me at times, and specifically the quarterback, Huseman. I had not seen him play, obviously, being my first year here. But I think a guy who plays and makes it look somewhat effortless when we really know the game is not is even more impressive. And that's kind of what I saw in this kid.
Well, and, he's a coach's son. He's a 3-year starter, very talented, but you put all those things together, and he's around the game so much that he's probably much like Aaron in that having a coach on the field because he's been around it so much with his dad. He grew up on the sideline, so I thought he was the key to their offense. He was what really made them go.
Style, selection, service, quality, value. See what everyone is talking about. Ashley Furniture Home Store.
But tell me about practices yesterday, today, how they been?
Well, I thought, yesterday we had, a very, very good practice on the defensive side of the football. And I think offensively, seeing a little bit of a different front this week, and, had a few first-day struggles, but rebounded today and had a very good practice today. And so I think the kids are motivated to make amends for last Saturday and to, get some positive energy back going in Cygnus Hall, so looking forward to getting back out on the field tomorrow afternoon and having another workout before we leave for Cullowhee on Friday.
College football can't be all that different in many instances to the workplace, and when the boss is in a bad mood at work, it's not as much fun. So
no,
you do try to turn it around.
My assistants are pretty crotchety this week, so and they've had to endure me. So. But that's one thing that I know is a weakness of mine is that I'm not a very good loser, and that's something I know I've got to continually work on is just staying positive all the time. I always try to be positive around the kids and try to be optimistic anytime I'm interacting with them, and so it's something I've been challenged with this week.
Did you get any good news today? And it sounds like you did. So.
Well, the call was supposed to have been yesterday, or there's some mix-up when it was supposed to be. But anyway, it took place at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We were on the practice field, so Jim Center, our athletic director, he participated in the phone call. And basically what it is the Southern Conference bylaws did not allow the commissioner any leeway as far as the suspension from the ejection last week of Carson Smith, which we felt was not justified. So the only option we had was we could appeal to the executive committee, which is made up of all the faculty athletic representatives in the league. So you have a group of professors, which had me a little worried there. So you got a group of professors, and they're going to vote on a football issue, and you never know what kind of makeup you're going to get there. So our professor, Chip Taylor, was recused from the vote. He could not participate in it. And basically Jim had the video from the ESPN broadcast that was shared with the group, and then Jim presented the case, and there was some general discussion and some questions, and it had to be a 3/4 vote in order to reinstate Carson, but it was actually a unanimous vote. Everyone voted that he should be reinstated, that there should not be a suspension going on into this week, and actually had a couple of the faculty athletic representatives speak up that their football staffs had shared that what was seen on tape was a technique that's taught by everybody in the country.
Yeah.
How to punch a ball out, which is what he's trying to do. He's trying to strip the football from the offensive player, and that they felt that there shouldn't have been a flag at all thrown. So it was great to see a group from our opposing institutions kind of rally around what is right.
Charleston Crab House has been serving locals and visitors alike for the last 20 years. We have our crispy whole flounder. We have the seared ahi tuna. You name it, in the seafood business, we have it.
Be sure to stop by the Tiger and Leaf Lounge whenever you visit our locations. We have many frozen and specialty drinks, awesome margaritas. One of my favorites is the Wapu Punch.
If you don't like it down in the historic district, come over to James Island, sit on the Intercoastal Waterway. It is an unbelievable view where it's southern seafood at sensible prices and a darn good time.
Welcome back to Kickin' Chicken's West Ashley location with head coach Mike Houston. I'm Mike Legg, and we are working our way through our program for this evening. 843-725-0989 is our number, 843-725-0989. Great news about Carson Smith, the linebacker for the Dogs, who will be on the field on Saturday at Western Carolina. Let's talk about the Catamounts, at least on the surface, Coach. And the one thing that really stands out when you really dig into this ball club a little bit is that this is a club that from 2006 through last season won 4 Southern Conference games and lost 58. They had really struggled with regards to Southern Conference ball games and got it turned around, at least from what you can see. They've played 3 games so far this year. So let's talk about the things they've done to turn their program around a little bit. Maybe it won't hold, maybe it will, but for now they're 3-0 in league play.
Well, when Mark first got there, and being a North Carolina guy, and I grew up about 15 minutes from Western's campus, so I kind of kept up with how things were going there. But when Mark first got there, he had a team that did not run very well. They just did not have very good team speed. And so the first issue that he attacked was trying to improve his overall team speed, and through recruiting and transfers and things of that nature. And for the most part, he's done it through just recruiting young kids and growing them up. It's his 3rd year, so he's got a lot of players that are playing for their 3rd season with him. And you go through some growing pains early on. I think he won 1 game his first year, 2 his second year. But they've developed, they've grown up, they've had a great start to the season. They had played South Florida very tough. Came back, had a solid win over Brevard College at home, then another solid win over Catawba College at home. They had a great win at home versus Wofford. They went down to Furman, had a great win there, had a little hiccup against PC, which PC I think is playing very, very well. So they've really played better this year just because of those kids being older, more experienced, and now he has better speed on the field than what he had when he first got there.
How difficult is it for a coach to sit a kid when you think he probably could help you?
Very. I mean, it's because you invest so much each week, and there's so much riding on each game, and you see a young man that has tremendous potential and tremendous God-given ability, but but there's something missing, and that's something that's missing. Causes them maybe not to make the right decisions off the field, not to make the right decisions in the way they practice, not to make the right decisions in certain situations on the field. And usually those are guys that have discipline problems on and off the field. And so, it's just tough to sit someone that's talented like that. But, inevitably those guys will get you beat.
When you're in a season where you could use a young man, as the season wears on, does it become harder to hold them back, or do you have that responsibility in your mind that, for 4 or 5 games, I really can't justify, burning up a kid's red shirt because, sometimes your season, you might, okay, this week we really need to do this or this or this. I mean, so as the season wears on, does that get tougher or does that get easier?
Yeah, to a degree. I've just always believed if you're gonna play a freshman, then you need to play him. I don't believe in playing them just for a few snaps. Now sometimes you play them early and they don't respond very well, and you end up in that situation. But it's something you try very, very hard to protect, is that year of eligibility. So when you get to this point in the year, and we've got a similar situation going on at slot back right now. With a couple of talented freshmen there that we're trying to hold on to them because I don't think they are truly ready just yet. But we have depth issues with some injuries there at that position. So you got a couple of guys that if you do see them on the field, then you're probably going to see them on the field a good bit. Reggie Williams and Javier Hammond. Because I think they're going to be very good players for us in the future, and they're doing really well as freshmen playing college football. But we're just trying our very best to hold on to that red shirt.
Since 2002, the lottery has helped award more than 1 million scholarships. So when you play, you're not just taking a chance. You're also giving one.
There's just so much that goes into that discussion. And I think, first off, when you're talking about a scholarship athlete, they are getting a scholarship to go to school. And when you talk about that, they're getting tuition, room, and board, all 3 to go to school. And with certain kids, if they have an outside academic scholarship from the state of South Carolina, or if they get a Pell Grant from the federal government, then they're getting that money on top of their scholarship. So, in my opinion, they are getting that scholarship in order to play athletics at that university. The regular student pays that money to go to the university, pays the room, pays the board, pays the tuition, and so to me that is what they're getting paid to play that sport at that school. I think when you get into this stuff where you're paying above and beyond that, you're going to treat them like employees. I think you're going to get into labor laws. I think you're going to get into some stuff with the federal government. I think you're going to run into the vast majority of institutions cannot afford to pay their players. I mean, I don't know where we would get $6 million to pay players at the Citadel. Most universities do not generate this large sum of money, by their athletic department programs. They depend a lot on alumni donations in order to support the scholarships and support the programs and ticket sales. So I think you're going to you may see a separate, if this ever comes to fruition, which it's looking more and more like it will. I think you'll see a separation from the big schools, the big BCS programs and the other FBS programs and FCS programs, and it will turn into almost two different entities.
Certainly a slippery slope. There's no question about that. Now, power conferences, the 5 power conferences. This is something I talked to the commissioner about on Saturday afternoon during halftime. We've heard a ton about the meetings that happened in August where the Power 5 said we want to make our own rules, and then it was okay to make their own rules. Hadn't heard a lot about it since, and so now's the time when everybody's determining what they're going to do, how they want to make different rules, whatever the case may be. Where do you think if the Power 5 conferences kind of make their own rules, let's just take the example of a game you'll play once a year, like the Florida State game. Do you foresee games like that going away, or how would you expect it to impact an FBS program or FCS?
You may see them say that, if the SEC institutions are not allowed to play non-FBS opponents, and I think you very easily could see that kind of rule being instituted by those leagues, and so then you would look up and that would take those money games away from your schedule each year. And so you have a certain, economic impact there on each of those FCS institutions. So I really think if you get to that point, I think you're getting away from the whole student-athlete model that's been part of the NCAA for so many years. And I think you could very easily see those 5 power conferences maybe even leave the NCAA. I mean, that's been talked about, and you just don't know where this whole discussion is going to go, and you don't know if it's really what's best for college football, because then you're getting more and more like a business, and what really is the difference in professional athletics and college athletics then? So I don't know.